Hello and welcome to Buzz Banter. I'm Das Hat.
I'm Sam.
I'm Maya.
And today we bring you a panel. Well, unfortunately Merlin couldn't be here, otherwise we'd have 4 conventions to talk to you about. However, we do bring you 3 conventions today. Now, unfortunately, considering that we do all of our filming in a basement, we obviously didn't have the cash for all of us to come out to all of these. So we'll actually be giving you 3 conventions, 3 different points of view, from 3 individuals. And just to simplify things so we're not all like stumbling over one another and kind of just letting one person talk, we actually have a breakdown, some basic questions that Maya was kind enough to put together for us. Maya?
Well, it's a bit biased because these are things that I'm interested in. Hopefully it applies to the other conventions too.
It's fairly universal.
Yeah. So first off, how are the cosplays, guys?
Well, you want to start?
I actually go through the list and then we'll go through each convention.
Oh, so
cosplays.
yeah.
We'll be asking about that.
How bad were the lineups? Did you guys even see the free swag if there was any? Guests? Did you? Who are the guests? Did you go to them? How was the artist alley and vendors rooms? Like because these are the 2 large areas in most conventions.
They are the main draw.
What was the highlight of the show for you specifically, and what would you feel that the conventions that you've gone to could improve upon? And is there anything new, perhaps, that specifically geared towards you, because you saw the most new things? The convention I went to specifically was Atomic Lollipop. You went to...
I went to the San Diego Comic-Con, so I've easily got the biggest one here.
Oh yeah, you essentially just nuked the both of us. I went to second annual Brick Fete, and I think yours is actually a fairly young convention as well.
Yeah, it's like it was meant to be a mix of anime convention and a carnival concept, and this is the 2nd year it's run.
Okay, so you're on your 2nd year, same as me. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Brick Fet's Toronto-based Lego convention that started up last year, and this was the 2nd year going well. So we'll start things off, actually. We'll start off with the young bloods, because as soon as we get to you, you're just going to take it over.
Well, mine is the one since the 70s. It is the biggest thing in North America in terms of a convention of any sort.
So to make sure you guys are actually watching to the very end, and so Maya and I aren't just talking into space, well, depending on what our page views are, actually, we just might be. We'll actually start off with, let's start off with Atomic Lollipop. You were nice enough to write down all the things. You put in the effort.
Well, I personally was stuck in the artist alley, because I actually had a table this year. I was selling hats. So the cosplays that I saw were all people just walking by, going into the rooms that were around the artist alley for events. So the cosplays were excellent. There were a lot of Lolita cosplayers, possibly the most Lolita cosplayers I've seen in any convention.
Gothic Lolitas?
It's sweet Lolita, Gothic Lolita. I didn't see any elegant Lolita. And steampunk Lolita was few and far in between. I believe that there's a contest going on. That was probably why they showed up, mostly on the 2nd day. Some Lolitas don't like being called cosplayers because they're saying, I'm not a character today. Because on Saturday they were characters. They had a Pokemon Snap contest going on for the cosplayers.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Sweet.
People were running around trying to catch them all, per se, in the cameras. The grand prize was a Pikachu costume, Kigurumi, so it's like a Pikachu pajamas, full body, so people were fighting over that.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that was new. I think that if they had run this maybe in future years, right, it'll have a lot more attendance and be a lot more Pokemon. There was I think 10 different Pikachu cosplayers that are running around, so Pikachu was the easiest one to get. Anyway.
So, the artist alley, vendors, what do you got for us? Go down the list, go down the list.
Go down the list?
You have a list.
Okay.
You wrote it down.
Okay, I'll start off.
Follow your own list.
For the lineups, when there were lineups was when the artist alley was busiest, because people would look at the swag and be like, must leave line, hold my place, and then they run over to buy something. But it was, it was interesting. I of course didn't have to go through the entrance lineups, because as a vendor you got a different pass. I lost the pass by the last day, but the pass actually came with a gold pin, so that if you chose not to wear it around your neck, you could pin it onto your shirt, and it had the Atomic Lollipop logo on it, which is quite interesting. It's new. Anime North does not do this. You should think about it.
Yeah, you really should, because it's kind of your lanyards kind of itch.
Yeah, they do. And then free swag wise, they for the vendors, I believe there were lollipops at one point that were being passed around because it is called Atomic Lollipop. And there was free cotton candy.
Did they glow in the dark?
No, there was glow sticks, but I missed out on those.
Oh.
They had free cotton candy. They had free burgers for the vendors, but you had to have your pass, which was terrible because some people weren't given passes despite being vendors. They're only given the bracelet, which is I guess an organizational problem they can work on in future years. The guests that came, I heard that the Kill Bill director came by, but I absolutely missed
Oh, Quentin Tarantino?
I think it might have been him. That's what I heard running around. But like the whole artist alley, we couldn't really get up without leaving our tables unoccupied.
Right.
So and then we heard that DJ Phil came, and then one of us was like, no, don't they mean PJ? But because there was a Korean and Japanese DJs that had come to perform, right? We weren't too sure. But by the end of the second night, we were like, nope, you just missed PJ Phil from YTV, and then the whole artist alley was in an uproar. They're like, no,
oh my God, I remember that guy from my youth.
How could we have? Oh my God!
We completely missed him.
Oh my God!
So
I totally remember.
That would have been the third greatest high five of the year.
Yeah. So since I was in the vendor,
number one is going to be Patrick Stewart at Fan Expo.
Oh my! At that point, we were the artist alley people were saying, okay, next year we're gonna bring a friend to watch the table so they can suffer watching the table while you run off to meet.
Hopefully, PJ shows up again.
And then the artist alley. I guess the other thing was that the AC was really crazy. So the table next to ours, actually, a couple of the girls fainted and got really sick because of the AC. Apparently, the vendors' room was even more cold because you have a carnival outside. People want to come in and cool down. There was like I forget what it's called, the mechanical bull.
Right,
you can ride it, right? I had a couple friends go on it and pull their legs, and then they were like, yeah, they pulled something, and they were like, yeah, I'm gonna sit next to you for a while. I'm like, yes, watch my table. And I went out.
I must find PJ.
All the presents.
Doing athletic things at a convention. That's always a good idea.
I was like, all the presents.
Everything's going to be sore in the morning.
A lot of the cosplayers were regretting wearing wigs because they could not go on the rides without their wigs flying off into the distance. So the fact that this was a carnival / anime convention was kind of for cosplayers.
Poor cosplayers.
So
I'm still gonna show up.
But the vendors' room was relatively quiet compared to other conventions because I had friends working in there, and they were saying how it was really noisy because of outside, but it was really cold. People got sick as well in the vendors' room.
Well, I think it's more of the shock to your system. I got sick a little while back, and it was just because it was really hot outside. I would come inside to the sudden cold and the air conditioning.
That's probably why. And then I guess the highlight of the show for me was the Pokemon Snap, because I was actually dressed up as Mareep, and my friend was dressed up as Ampharos. We lost Flaffy, so yeah, I don't think anybody got Flaffy pictures because.
Well, no one really likes Flaffy.
No, we love Flaffy. She was adorable. I would evolve into her.
How would you get into Ampharos if you don't have a Flaffy?
I know, but I liked just going past Flaffy as quickly as I possibly could.
That's kind of hard to go from 16 to 36.
I know, and so I was power leveling like you wouldn't believe. But no, like you seriously would not believe. I was going up against the Elite Four, giving it giving that little thing the experience share to just run through that 3 or 4 times and gain the levels that I needed, but I don't like Flaffy. I don't know. It's got these weird proportions and everything. Yeah. It's sometimes on 4 legs, sometimes on 2, and it's pink.
So cute.
Whereas the other ones, no, it's like you start off with the cute blue and yellow one, and you're gonna end up with the awesome looking black and yellow one. But in the middle, for some reason, it turns into this weird fetus pink white thing.
No, it's adorable.
And then it finishes.
No, lies. It's cute. It doesn't matter. It's cute.
I'm not saying that it's not cute, I'm just saying that it's cute in the same way an octopus is. It's kind of freaky too.
Oh, octopus are delicious. Anyway.
They really are.
Okay.
Calamari.
My final statement is regarding what the convention could improve upon. It could improve upon less AC, equals less suffering for the vendors. 2, better scheduling, because the schedule, if you looked at, I don't have it, but if you opened it up, there were no breaks in between. How Anime North and any even Japanese convention or even North American convention is designed, right? Yeah. Is that there's always an hour gap or 2-hour gap in between the panels. Like you have like 3 panels and you have a gap. Why? So that the vendors and the artists who have pretty much funded your convention will have revenue generated from people buying things. But because there was none of this, we had gaps of just no one being in the artist room alley. So then what we resorted to doing was like buffeting. We basically, everybody brought a bit of food and it's kind of like potluck. You start passing it around. It's like, well, it's chip, snap, like crunch, crunch. Well, people are gonna come back. People are gonna come back. Nope. Because it was so hectic, people couldn't enjoy the convention as much. They were unnecessarily made to rush when they could have really taken it much leisurely. But
well, it's the second year. They'll improve that hopefully.
Elliot, improve on it. No. Elliot, what are you doing? Anyway.
Hey, alright. So mine's got obviously going. Well, it's actually going to be the Rent of the Litter because it's got a much narrower focus. Brickfest was started up by Torontonian 2 years ago. Because he just wasn't willing to pay the price for Brickfest every year, and his wife simply wasn't willing to put up with that either. But that being said, he got a couple of Lego enthusiasts and everything in Toronto together, and they put this thing together, and it's actually garnered quite a lot of acclaim and everything. There were people showing up from across Canada and the United States for this thing, simply because there's not too many of them. Gomer, you know we're recording. Stop doing that. You really had to have him hooked on espresso by the time you brought him back, didn't you?
Dude,
4 rules. 4 rules, and you break the 3rd one.
No espresso for animals equals heart attack.
It's not my fault he started to become a superhero.
Yeah, well, he's not seizuring, but he keeps giving me the crazy eye, like every morning it wakes me up. Anyway, so back to Brickfest. Seriously large crowd for a very small convention space. It takes place over 4 days. I think I ended up going on the busiest day, unfortunately. In terms of cosplayers, believe it or not, we actually did have 4 cosplayers.
Oh yeah.
Because Star Wars has garnered such an insane amount of revenue for the Lego sets and everything. We actually had a Scout Trooper, a Stormtrooper, Darth Vader, and Boba Fett show up. I think they may have been affiliated with the Toronto chapter of the 501st. I didn't get a chance to actually talk to them, but there will be a gallery of images posted on Box Office Buzz, so you can check out some of the highlights of some of the things that I took. Unfortunately, all I could bring was my cell phone, but whatever. Basically, the Artist Alley was absolutely massive, as you would expect from a Lego convention. You had people's creations that just incredible. You had full cityscapes. You had like fun little things. You had the chemical spill, and actually, what we have here is the closest thing to a Lego version of me that I could find. The hat that he's wearing actually isn't made by Lego, and this was something that I found very interesting at the vendor area. Most of the vendors actually don't sell older Lego sets. Instead, what they sell are custom molded pieces or custom graphics on blank pieces.
Oh, yeah, decals.
Exactly. You've got decals on capes and on suits of armor that you otherwise couldn't get. Star Wars being the predominant one for decals, for custom decals. But actually posted on Box Office Buzz in the next couple of days, you'll actually see a little placard of custom-made Gears of War weapons. Now, the names have been changed because of copyright issues, obviously, but they are nice copies, and you'll actually find at the convention there are a lot of dealers that actually sell historic weapons because Lego doesn't do that. They want to keep things to a certain amount of kid rating.
Modernity, yeah.
So like modern and classical weapons, they just kind of have that weird musket-looking things, rather than a proper gun. No, these are like proper like shotguns and rifles and grenade launchers and everything, miniguns and all that.
It'd be a little jarring, wouldn't it?
It would be a little jarring and everything for children, but because they're made by independent makers and everything, they're custom molds and everything.
I guess they're better for fantasy kids. Like children can relate to fantasy in terms of Narnia and like the upcoming like Tolkien movies.
Yeah.
But like when you go into like things like Excalibur, you're like, yeah, it's okay. But then you start going to real life weapons that are in current usage, and then
What was really fun to see was the Artist Alley is actually almost totally Canadians. And I've actually been to Brickfest on one previous occasion. It was an incredible amount of fun, but back then Lego Technic hadn't really caught on. Like, you had Lego Technic and then you had the classic Lego, but there wasn't too much overlap. That's gone now. There were a lot of sets, and you'll actually see it in the gallery. There were a couple of sets that blended Technic with the plain Lego very well. It's the reason why you could get things like Generation 1 Transformers like Starscream, Megatron, and Optimus. You also had various Gundams. You had the original Gundam as well as the Death Scythe was there. Unfortunately, that picture didn't turn out too well. You had Metroplex, the Transformer.
What are you talking about? They had Macross. It was Macross. It was a VF. Not Starscream. What was that? Impossible. I mean, Robotech. Even that thing that Tobey Maguire likes.
It was Starscream.
That's what you wish. You wish it was Starscream.
It was Starscream. There was a little placard that said it was Starscream. But you'll actually see the Balrog versus Gandalf on the bridge of Khazad-dûm.
Khazad-dûm.
Yeah.
Gandalf.
And he's doing his whole "You shall not pass." You'll also see pictures of the Normandy landings recreated, bullet stitching and everything, and little explosions everywhere.
It means the World War II thing, not the Mass Effect thing.
Yeah. The Normandy landing on a planet really doesn't have all the sort of boo 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 that
the Citadel thing, when you first see that, was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I will admit that was kind of cool.
It's really good.
That being said, additionally, you'll see a couple of portraits on the gallery, and all of those portraits, I don't want you to mistake these for something that people took longer pieces for. Each and every one of those portraits is one of the single blocks, in just a 1x1 block, put into place. And the color, of various colors and everything, and as you gain some distance from it, it creates the image. So, the C-3PO, the Clint Eastwood, and the whoever that last one is, I don't know what it was, but I really like the color blend on it, which is why I took the picture. All of those are made out of single block pieces put next to one another. A lot of really cool stuff. In terms of lineups and everything, the convention space is incredibly crowded, because it being the second year, they hadn't really brought together. They hadn't garnered enough cash flow to get a larger convention space, but they had a massive audience. So there is no lineup. And to get in, it's gradually people come in and everything. There wasn't really much of a lineup to come in. The issue is just with how tightly packed people are, because there's a lot of young children there and everything, as you would expect from a Lego convention. But outside of the custom-made Lego pieces, the trade floor is kind of a letdown. It was nice seeing people selling Bionicle sets that I have for exorbitant prices.
Bionicle.
So I think I might actually be able to make my rent this month on time. No, I'm not selling my Bionicles. But let's see what other questions are left there.
What
that
was
I
the
haven't
highlight of the show? Your highlight of the show, personally.
My highlight of the show. Okay, I'm actually torn on this one. So you'll understand it when you see the gallery images. There was this one large fantasy-scape, and in the middle of it, they had a dragon that was actually breathing fire onto the land and charring it, and it's a wonderful effect. I love how they did it. It was fantastic to behold, and I really like that. But the other thing that I really liked, and you'll see more pictures of it, someone actually mashed together a couple of Technic and regular Lego sets to make steam-powered, wood-made Star Wars vehicles. You'll see a TIE Fighter, a Lambda-class shuttle, and an X-Wing. All of them steam-powered, made of wood. And it is really interesting to see. I think that one actually wins it for me. It was just really nice. You're trying to make him fall to, so I make that sound again, aren't you?
I might.
But yeah, it being a sort of narrower focus and everything, just on the one product line, you don't have anyone like special coming out or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was very nice to see a lot of enthusiasts come out, and it's amazing to see people that are there rather than just with the set from the box, creating something that is fantastic to behold.
So I suppose that would be what you would criticize or feel that the convention could improve upon.
The convention definitely needs to get a larger space because you have quite a few of these larger displays. And it definitely eats up the floor space, and they definitely need to find a larger venue. It was at the Hilton at the convention area where Anime North is.
Oh, you were there? I was in the Sheraton near Anime North.
What weekend were you there? We'll compare notes later.
Yeah!
If we could have had lunch together and we missed that chance,
I didn't even eat lunch! I didn't even eat lunch. Because when you're in the artist alley alone, or when you have only one other person at the table, one of you gets up for lunch, the other one sits there. When they come back, I was so hungry I didn't feel hunger anymore.
Why didn't that person just buy you
welcome
lunch?
to fasting.
Oh, no, I didn't want to impose upon them. Because it didn't occur
No,
to
you
either
throw
of us.
them cash and say, I'm starving to death, go.
I actually completely forgot I was supposed to eat until I got home and I was like, man, I'm so hungry. Did I eat lunch? Oh my god.
Which makes well of the convention if you can forget about food.
Because people walk by and were like, yo, you should come with us to have lunch. I was like, no, I'm alone at the table, I can't. And then later on I was like, why am I hungry? Oh, but there was snack food being like buffeted around. We had, I guess you could say, artist alley neighbors. I don't know if you guys know that term, but you basically, whoever sits next to you is a neighbor. While you're setting up tables, you're like, yo neighbor, yo sup, and then you're like, you got food? You're like, yeah, we can share. Oh yeah, that's the usual.
It's community
greeting.
building. It's nice.
Yeah, and then you pass business cards, which I should get. I just wrote down my DeviantArt and drew like hideous magic card.
Yeah. Actually, one more thing I should mention about this Brick Fete. No one has issue with you taking photos or video or anything. It's wonderful. We've been to a couple of conventions before and tried to do some recordings and everything, and without fail, someone in the shot said, "No, you can't take a look at my table." Quite usually, the instant thought that jumps to mind is, all right, so you're not licensed to have these photos here, and you're selling them at a profit to yourself illegally, which is why you don't want there to be any visual record of it. That might go to Warner Brothers, or or Joss Whedon, because all of those Firefly photos and everything are something that you printed off of the internet.
I have photos of my own like.
Okay, there was.
stuff.
I'm not even gonna try to hide it. There was one jerk at Polaris that was just rude. There's a proper way of going about it, and quite frankly, sir, you were a jerk.
What did he do?
In the middle of our recording and everything, he just shouted over us and said, "No, you can't do this." He was incredibly rude about it and everything. Like, we've had people that are just like, "I would prefer if you don't." He just took some sort of righteous indignation for it and everything. So, you know what? You're a jerk. I don't put up with that.
Well, I made hats that were inspired by Madoka. I converted them all to small cakes. So I don't think I'm breaking anything because they don't even look like the characters anymore. It's just the color schemes are all based off of the magical girls. So I'll wear it next time. I didn't bring one, but that's what I was selling. Yeah. So I was like, people want to take photos, fine.
Yeah, but the sense of community and everything there is wonderful. As I would assume it's the same at Atomic Lollipop. You generally find that with these smaller conventions.
It's probably like that, but even the large conventions, like the convention you went to, you wouldn't have problems. Like people didn't really have problems getting photos, right?
Well, at the same time, though, I'm just trying to delay you as much as possible. I'm just torturing you now.
Oh, why?
Because he wants to talk about it so badly. He's got like this torrent building up on him.
At least he has the most time to think about what he wants to say.
That's true.
Because the questions are basically the same, and you've answered. Well, Mo, you've answered all of them already. But
I like to meander.
Fine, I'll add it to it. I guess like.
All right, no. Let's move on to Comic Con because even our audience is our audience is here for that.
I didn't even get to say my highlight. My highlight was the girl next to me made a bunch of Magikarp hats, and then we realized the hats could be turned into puppets. So we were basically talking to each other as Magikarp, and we were like, "Please buy our things. Ooh, Magikarp uses Splash, Splash."
If you buy me, I'll lay 1,000 eggs, and you can sell 1,000 more Magikarps to make a profit.
But we forgot the mustache on the Magikarp.
She also said he was the king of Magikarp.
Oh my god, we forgot to add the mustaches on them, and then there was a girl at a table nearby selling felt mustaches, so we took it, and we were gonna like pin it onto the Magikarp, but we kind of messed up, so it got not really.
Was there the random Feebas there?
No. We took the mustache, we pinned it on top of the Magikarp's eyes, so it has eyebrows instead of a mustache. So that was the highlight of my day, like my 2 days. We had terrible Magikarp. They sold. They were just beautiful, like a dream. And you wake up screaming from, but you know.
All right, the big one, the biggest one, the one only one of us will ever go to, Comic Con.